Hello everyone, my name is Carmen Henneman. And today I would like to share with you a very special topic that will help in your relationship with God. But before to start, I have a very important question. How many of us in any moment of our life felt as nothing, or someone worthless, or someone insignificant to others? Do you know, in moments like this, we naturally seek for some attention of others, or even for a true relationship, and even more for some love. But do you know something? There is someone else who loves us with an unconditional love. Someone who never rejects us, regardless of how we are today or how we were yesterday. Is someone who never offers affect us or offend us with judgment or condemnation. Is someone who offers us his deepest, very deepest and powerful relationship. And the most important, this relationship is completely covered with his deep, intense, and true love. And who is that? I'm talking about the most important, powerful person of the universe. This person is God. And the best for us is someone who loves you more than we can imagine. But what the Bible talks about this? There is any reference about our importance or about our value or which kind of friendship we can develop with God? Which kind of information can we find in the Word of God? So we'll start with this text here, this reference in John 15:15. We read exactly this in English. I will not longer call you servants, because the servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, because everything or all the things that I heard from my Father, I have made you to know. This is a powerful verse, right? It's a very powerful reference. So to start, we're trying to identify some differences between servant and friends from this test, this first test. So how can we define servants? This is my first point. From the definition, we will be able to make or to see clearly some differences. So how can we define servant? I think servant is maybe a kind of employee, can be, right? This is my intention to translate. I can translate as an employee, or maybe can be a kind of helper, or even just a servant. This is a simple concept. Beside this, or while this, friend is someone with who we can develop a very special relationship of friendship. It's not exactly like the first concept. So it's someone special, and it makes a kind of a difference. The second observation I see between these two terminologies is the servant usually walks or lives under his or her obligations and duties, while the friend is, in the other way, enjoys the pleasure of the friend's company. So here it is also a huge difference. One walks by obligation, and the next by pleasure of his or her friend's company. It is a very good thing. The third thing we can see as a difference is the description after the same word. For example, here in this first line about the servant, we read, because the servant does not know what his master is doing. Yeah, the servant does not know because they are just, he or her are just a servant, right? In plural, they are just servants, a kind of employee. We can compare maybe servant and master like employee and boss, the boss. For example, the servant does not have any right to ask to his master what he is doing or what he did yesterday, what he or she is planning to do today. No right. This person, these servants don't have any right to ask this kind of question. Why? Because no relationship of a friendship between them. The same way, the master does not have any obligation to explain to the servant what he did, what he is doing, what he is planning to do tomorrow. So why? Because no relationship of a friendship, no connection, no close relationship. But in my opinion, what exists between a servant or employee and a boss, a servant or someone above him or her, as a kind of a distant relationship, if I can call it a relationship, but it's a kind of empty or distant kind of maybe a kind of a little relationship, nothing deep, as something superficial, just by obligation. But when you talk about a friend, what do you think? While this, the friend enjoy the company of his friend, right? We saw already. So this is the 2 or 3 very quick difference between one and the other. We will try to understand a little in the next verse. Before to jump to the next, we'll see, we'll try to understand which kind of extra information the original Greek will add to our life today on the same topic. So we will read the same verse here. We read in English now, in Greek the same, John 15:15. We read like this. O ket lego humas doulos, hoti rodulos, uk oiden typoi auto hokirios, humas de eireka Φίλος, hote panta ha ekusa paratu patros mu ignorisa homin. So this is the same verse, and as we see the word friends here as now in Greek, the word Φίλος as one of the most sweet expression we can use in Greek relating to friends. So I can mention 2 or 3 observations from Greek which make a kind of maybe a little difference with English. But because I will be talking about the same topic in the next, I will just talk about one word in Greek and compare with English. This is the word eirika. Eirika here before Φίλος. So eirika in English as this word called or to call. So here in English we say, but I have called you friends. I was thinking about this word called in comparison with eirika. So called is also used to when you give someone a name. For example, I am called Carmen. So someone is called Mary, called John, called Joy. In the name is something we can change. When we decide or for however reason we want, we can change our names. So it's something we can modify. In this case, this kind of understanding or explanation, definition, affect a little the comprehension of the word eirika. Because Erika here in Greek is not exactly called. Because of this instability, Erika can be, in some version, say. I say you friends. But the next translation for me is most important because it's deepest, which is declare. So in Greek, Erika corresponds to declare. In other words, God says, I declare you friends, or I declare you my friends. If you take all the part which talks about friends, it started here in Humas de Erika Philos. Humas is the second personal pronoun in English. It's tu or you, but you all, right? There is a preposition before the verb. It can be translated like but. For example, Erika is declare to declare in Philos, which is friends. Literally, we can say, for example, I declare, but, or because I declare you all my friends. Something like this. Just to make a similar translation to compare with the English, because like this you understand better, right? So the thing I want to say here is when God declares something to us, two things very special happen at the same moment. One, when he declares, he is also expressing his desire to make it true. I mean, God, when he declares you are my friends, he is expecting from this moment, we become his friends in some moment, in any moment, who he true friends, real friends, permanent friends, forever friends. He expresses his desire, right? The second thing I say here is, when God declares, you are my friends, he is also calling the existence. It matches a little with I say right now. First, he declares. Second, he is already calling to the existence. The friends he wants, we become for him. In case we are not his friends yet, when he declared, he also called to the existence. I declare because I know you can be my friend, and I declare already, expecting tomorrow I will see in you a very special, closest person to me, and with a very strong connection. Okay? So the word Erika here is a very important word because declared, not just say something, not just a code or like we do with names. This kind of definition also we can compare, for example, with Romans, I think it's 8:37. This verse says, in Christ we are much more than conquerors. So, but when we think about this reference, Romans 8:37, I think, well, we are not really conquerors at all by ourselves, right? Because we make so many mistakes every day. Every day we need to say, sorry, God, help me to be better. We are not really victorious in every little thing. But when God says this, you are more than victories or more than conquerors, he is also revealing his best way how to see us, which is the positive way. In other words, God never talks to us accusing, condemning, or even criticizing. He never talks to us from our mistakes and point them against us. He does not define us from our mistakes or by our mistakes. He sees us very above of all our limitations and see in our lives the best he can see, and we even the best we cannot see yet because our naturally, our mistakes, our bad habits of every day. We cannot see how precious, how highest our value, our importance. We cannot see probably, but God sees. And because he sees, he declared, you can be more than victorious or more than conquerors because you have a very powerful value, a very high importance. I place it on you. So, to make it simple, when God say this word, Erika, he has declared something. He believes we can become like more than victorious, more than conquerors. We are not, maybe we cannot see us like this, but we are because he says. If he says, then we are, right? The same we can compare it quickly in Romans 4:17, I think, it says the text, God calls to the existence things which don't exist yet. So in this point, when he declared, he is also calling to the existence, the friends, we are not yet. Maybe he is called, say, I declare because I believe you can do this, you have good qualities, and all this kind of intention, he is showing his high expectation in make us or help us to become his true friends. For this reason, he is declaring, I declare, you what I declare, it happens. And do you know nothing is most powerful in our life is than the word, the word of God when it is declared upon our lives, right? Okay, so from these two verses, we will see kind of a quick difference. We see differences about the denomination, the name, servant, friends. We see differences about how each one work, one by obligations, the duties, the other by pleasures, because the special friend. Also the description is here. How is the relationship? One is very superficial. This is the servant, the friend is deepest. One is a little distant, the friend is closest. So there is some difference between one and other relating to the relationship. And also, we will see they have a very some clear difference about the qualities. Their qualities are also different, as we will see next. In the final, we will see also difference between the level of deepest. One is superficial, the other deepest. How it happened, we will see right now. But for now, we are work with the word Philos, which is literally friend in Greek. So we will see here, because the text is so big, we will take just the central part of the same reference. It says in English, I no longer call you servants, but friends. So you know this already, right? And in Greek, we see the same part, which corresponds to this sentence here in Greek. I no longer call you servants, but friends. Humas de Erika Philos. So, humas again is the second of plural. Is you, but you all. Because God does not make exception, right? He does not have a preference, I say, like this. He does not say beautiful things about one and ugly things about the other. Does not exist. It is not a part of his character. For this, you all, not just you, like the second of a singular. I, you, he. No, not a specific or a specific person, but all of you, everybody together. So, all of you, second of a plural, there is a kind of a preposition que is but, can be but in this context. Erika, which is declared, is the translation I prefer to use here, because it's more than say, it's more than call. I declare, the God's declaration is very permanent, is very resistant, is very deep, is very true, and also is forever. However he declared about us, it will be forever. Nobody can change, nobody can delete, nobody can make it disappear. However God does in our lives is forever, for this is a blessing. So in this point, This declaration is a very good positive declaration because he is declared we are already friends. When he say, I call you friends, no more servant, because servant is a distance, is not just by obligation, it has a superficial relationship or no relationship, once it's just by obligation. So when you jump to Philos, it's different. It's closer relationship, it's not superficial, instead it's deeper because it's a friend, in particular friend of God. We don't have words to make any kind of comparison because it's the most special. So in this case, God is declaring someone like Philos, expressing his desire, his expectation, his plans, his will about we become this kind of a people, closer to him, available, able, with him all the time. Anyway, now the same expression is here. I declare you all my friends, right? So now we'll see in Greek we have more than one word which express this word friend. It talks about the friendship. But in this case, we'll be work with these two only because of time. So one of these friends we'll be talking about right now is common, is a common friend. The other is the special friend. So in this case, the common friend is the Philos, the friend Philos, which we saw right now, started to see, and the next, which is special is the retire. This word we all know very now. So as a common friend, the Philos has very special qualities. For example, is a companion, right? A companion is a kind of a partner, a friendly, someone very positive in so many ways. Fraternal, as a brother or sister. This word is comrade. Comrade is someone who help us to carry the heaviness of our situation. In other words, is someone who offers his or her shoulders to help us in our difficult moments. This is a comrade in this point, in this context. Colleague is someone who is close, walk together, right? The one who loves. In this quality, he was very special because it talks about Philos as someone who can express interest or acceptance, or loving for everybody and everything around. As someone who can accept, he can make a kind of effort with him or herself to accept the others with all their other qualities. Even if they are different of Philos, this person Philos, this friend Philos can accept others even different, even difficult, even hard to understand. They can. For this, the one who loves without big problem. Also, as someone so important in the point, even the grammar supports this kind of definition. The word Philos is supported by the grammar in Greek. And we see here the word Philos coming from the indicative mood phileo, is just love, and also from the infinitive mood, which is philein, is to love. So it is just to mention the importance of this word. It's so clear. The point is to be supported by the grammar, also by the grammar, right? Now we'll see the second terminology, the second word, which is retire. Retire, we find information about retire, for example, in Matthew 26:50. This verse says exactly this. Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you came to do." Then they came up and laid hands on Jesus and seized him, right? We know already about the situation is a short time before Jesus Jesus going to the cross. So the experience with Judas Iscariot. Judas made a plan with the soldier. He says, the one who I kiss, this person is Jesus. Take him. So it was the plan. We'll see now what happened between this, because we don't have time to talk about all the experience or the story, but just this very short moment, which was very important for Judas, also for Jesus, and I hope it become important for us today too. So it was what Jesus said to Judas, friend, do what you came to do. What Greek, the original of the New Testament, shows or add as information to our life is about the same text. We see here, rodei Jesus epiautou, retairei, rouparei, tot proseutontes epibalon, das reiras epiton sum kai ekratesan auton. So this is exactly the same text, with maybe one or two kind of little observation. The first thing here is this part, which is the part we are talking about now, is the strongest part of this verse for me in this moment, exact moment. So we say here, retire rouparei. What Jesus say? Before to talk about the situation, I wanted to make a quick observation about the grammar. So here in Greek, we see at the end we see a period, right? The period always works when a sentence ends and another part starts. So it is a kind of a declaration. I see here in English, we have a period beside the verb to do. So, but it's interesting because other languages like Spanish and Portuguese, this part of the text sound like a question. Why is a question? The translation, not the original. The original is the same, but the translation, they translate like, for example, friend, why did you come? Or why are you here? It's like this, more or less, the translation of this part in Spanish, English, or other similar language. Maybe because this word, this pronoun brings the intonation of a question mark. Maybe for this reason, this other language translate like a question. It is not the case, but anyway, because it is a period, we understand that this is a declaration or a statement, right? Jesus is saying exactly or a little like we read here in your text. Do what you came to do. Jesus was expressing at least two things in my opinion. First, he knew what Judas had in mind to do. Judas made a plan. He talked with the others. He established a price for his decision, his action toward Jesus. So Jesus knew about all this, even if nobody said anything, because Jesus is also omniscient, right? We know this. He knows everything, even very before something happens, he already knows. For this reason, he is very able to help us to reveal, to help us to show future things. And sometimes by prophecies, but the best time is when we pray and we are able to listen his voice and through his discernment to understand what is happening behind us in the spiritual world, in the spiritual atmosphere, or from our enemies, or in other spiritual regions, what is happening there in my eyes or your eyes cannot see. Jesus can show us because he is so powerful and so omniscient. Besides to be omnipresent and omnipotent, he is also omniscient. He knows everything we cannot even imagine. So I'm very sure Jesus knew which plan Judas had in mind, what he was planning to do. The second is because he knew what Judas had in mind. He said, okay, you came, do now. This is the moment, do. This is your opportunity. He leave Judas free and used his free will he had from God to make his decision. E é so sad when we use his free will, God's free will, to make the wrong decision, to make wrong things, and to get bad consequences, and to lose, even to die in some kind of situations because we make wrong decisions. In this point, I cannot imagine the Judas condition. I just think he was lost, completely lost. He didn't know anymore what he was doing. Even he didn't know who he was anymore on that time. He was completely lost. But Jesus, anyway, gave him the right he had. Use his free will and say, do however you came to do. And he did. What he did? After Jesus say friend, which in Greek is hetaire. And by the way, in Greek, there is a kind of very huge difference between Philos, as the word we saw previously in John 15:15, and this hetaire from Matthew 26:50. Because Philos is a special, as a friend, but as a common friend. In other way, everybody or anybody, however, can be a Philos, and just work with us a little, with our mistakes, our defects, our bad habits, and improve ourselves a little. We can become a Philos. We can become a friend, a common friend, because anyone can become a friend's Philos or Philos friend. But hetaire has a special nature. It's like, I will say my old, it's like someone who was born like this. Has a different conception, different understanding, very deep feeling, very strong connection with someone else who is his or her friend, hetaire, this level of hetaire. So when Jesus talked with Judas, he said, hetaire, which also is best friend, or a special friend, or friend of my heart, friend of my soul. These are the concepts related to hetaire. Jesus literally say, my best friend, or friend of my soul, or friend of my heart, do what you came to do. If Jesus say, if this translation is literal, do however you came to do, or why did you came, when you order, the two both started with the word hetaire, special friend, my special friend. Why did you come? Or my special friend, do what you came to do. Do you know Judas listened, he heard the word very clear. He understood the word which Jesus used to talk with him. He understood even the context, the application of the word. He knew the word was the deepest word which expressed affection and love. And even like this, instead to get like awake from his mistake, and regret what he did. Apparently he ignored. Apparently he acted like he did not know. He did not understand. After Jesus say, my special friend, my hetaire, after all the sentences, Jesus say, Judas came forward, Jesus kissed him and make his plan complete. So, like he didn't feel, he didn't understand anything. So it is a very important word for me in this aspect, also because we can compare with us right now, right? Which kind of reaction could be my reaction if I am in Judas' place? If Jesus said to me, my best friend, my special friend, my very special friend, maybe my reaction was to fall in his feet and cry. Oh, I never cried in my life. Feeling so shamed and sad with myself and regret about all my horrible plan against him and asking for forgiveness. And maybe to born again at the same moment. It was, I see it like a very huge experience. I don't know which kind of reaction you think you could express if you were in Judas' place. If you see, if you hear this kind of, if you listen this kind of word, retire. Why are you here? Do however you came to do. Which kind of reaction could you express in the presence of Jesus? It is something we can think and understand later, right? Before to pray. So, because the verse, the text is a little long, I just will use the central part of the same Matthew 26:50. So, friend, what do you came to do? So, in Greek again, retire, hopare. So, retire as a special friend. We will see in the next slide which qualities retire has to be a special friend. But yeah, the retired friend has a very special and high qualities which we maybe don't find in someone else anymore. So F here talk about purpose. So the reason why someone else came or why he is doing something. Who here is a relative pronoun which brings a kind of question, the question to the sentence, in case the translation prefer to translate as a question, as I mentioned before, like Portuguese, Spanish, other language. So it talk about the reason, purpose, why something is happened, and who is a relative pronoun which brings the question, or also can be that, depending of the context, it also can be which. In this case, yes, basically which. And party, so this part of the text is the crucial part of the message from Jesus to Judas. And Jesus was very clear in a very short sentence, just 4 words. He wanted to try to shake this man, his heart, and make him see clear what he was doing, and he did. But we will see now, to be a special friend, which kind of qualities the friend retire presents. We will see some here. For example, as a companion, as a kind of partner, someone with who we can work very well without problem. As someone we can define as an equal friend. This friend retire has a huge ability of equality. Equality, in my opinion, is to be the same, to be like someone else. Not because you transform us to be like, for example, a clone. No, not like this, but to adapt ourselves as much as we can to be in the same high, in the same level of someone else. I am talking about the comprehension, the same level of comprehension, same level of acceptance, some level of identification, expressing the maximum of identification with someone else. Then this kind of relationship is very special. God loves this kind of relationship. So someone who is an equal friend has a huge ability to combine and to coincide things at the same moment with the other friend. When we combine, when we coincide, we can make huge things. We can make, for example, God's ministry very well if our team or someone or the leader or the partner of the ministry or the department or the church, if they are able to combine and to coincide. Even in the Old Testament, in Amos, chapter 3, verse 3, asks a very important question about this point. The question is, can two people walk together without agreement, without combine, without coincide, without agreed between them and to do something together in the same way, in the same style, in the same form? So this ability to combine, to coincide is very appropriate for this retired friends. Also, is someone who can be like you. In this point, again, I'm not talking about to transform yourself to become another person just to be friend of someone. It's not at this point, because even it is impossible, right? And also, nobody else has this kind of right to make you change yourself to become another person in order to become his or her friend. It is not a good idea. It is fake. It does not work well. So, but here again, I talk about the ability to be in the same level of comprehension, the same level of connection, the same level of identification between one another. When these qualities exist, it's easier to walk together, as Amos 3:3 mentions, right? And on the same level. It's difficult to work, for example, with someone else who understands things in a different way. I understand very high, the other understand very, very down, or vice versa. It's not possible. But retired has this huge and special quality of equality. For all these abilities, is absolutely a very special friend. Also, the concept of retired denotes the sense of walk close. In this case, I can say walk very close, because Philos walk close. Retired walks very, very close. Know you very well. So in this point, the retired friends does not need you talk too much to help him or her to understand. Retired can understand by short words, even by or through the silence, or even through different expressions or some other kind of expression. It's not necessary to talk too much, because this level of relationship is able to help you or someone else understand you, or vice versa, very well, because the level of the relationship or communion we see here previously. One of their own. This is, in other words, is someone who can be part of your team, someone who can stay with you all the time if possible. Intimate. This point here talks about sharing with very personal things, secrets or confidences, for example. And around all this experience, you will have the security. Your secrets, for example, or confidence will be there. The retired friend is someone who keep like a safety box, something you deposit, you put on him or her, it will be there. Nobody else will know. Is an intimate and very, very closest. Is a Philomene similar with all this kind of ability. Someone who can usually do the same you do. Suitable is a partner, someone who is always present with you. As I say here, walk close, but the retired is closest. All these kind of huge special qualities define the retired friends as a very special friend. So we see even in Hebrew, is the language of the Old Testament, we see a very important value or importance around the word friend. In Hebrew is Rea, reading from the right to the left, Rea. And this word in Hebrew brings the same kind of connotation from similar of the Greek, of the New Testament. So this word is, we can find in the Old Testament Hebrew around 187 times, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but it's around this amount, 187. It's one word very constant, repeating different contexts, different ages, different centuries, in different situations, from different people, culture, ages, and education, however, is very constant in the Old Testament because the value, right? The Bible is the word of God. If this word is so frequent in the whole Old Testament, it's because this topic is very important for God, to God. So the next is, as Greek of the New Testament, the Hebrew of the Old Testament defines friend as a personal friend, someone different of everybody else. Is a friend of confidences, someone to who you can talk about very, very, very personal things, informations, things from your heart, and nobody else you know. This person is very faithful. He has a very high level of integrity. So someone of confidences. Is also someone with whom to feel very close. For this I say in the beginning, Philos walk close, but Hetairy walks closest or more close. Is someone who loves all the time. As we read here in Proverbs 17:17, the friend loves all the time. No matter the circumstance, no matter the time, no matter the opposition, or however, the friend loves all the time, especially Hetairy. So, but my question here, I have a simple question, is what did Jesus mean by the word Hetairy? Okay, for him, which is the real and deepest concept of Hetairy? For Jesus, we read here it is a feature friend. This concept here is very important because this word feature put or place the friend in high position. It's like, for example, if you go, to attend a conference, everybody sitting in the same level. One who is directing the conference is in a high place, like a platform, right? Everybody is looking this person very easily because this director of the conference is in very high position, very high place. This in this concept of Hetairy is a feature friend. It is a very important concept. Again, is a special friend for all these beautiful qualities we already discussed. Is someone who has the same vision, work under the same purposes, and express the same motivation. Even when the plan or the project is not the one which Hetairy agrees, but because it is a Hetairy, him or her can adopt the same vision, the same purpose, and the same motivation, just because his or her nature is so special and very easy. This person can adapt to any of these aspects or qualities or levels of the relationship. It is very important. Also for Jesus, as I say at the beginning, is a friend of his soul or friend of the heart. When Jesus looked to Judas, he literally says, my friend, friend of my heart, or friend of my soul, do what you came to do. So now, when Jesus used this expression to Judas, what exactly, specifically, Jesus wanted to say to this specific man? In my opinion, the first intention, or one of the Jesus' intentions, was this. He tried to show Judas the value Judas had to him, even if it was the very last moment when Judas was completely out of himself doing a terrible thing, and it was specifically the last moment. The high value that Jesus placed on Judas, Jesus wanted to show him, even when, if now he was a traitor, even he was now full of bad ideas, bad intentions, bad motivations, or however he had in his soul, Jesus wanted to show to Judas how important Judas was for Jesus. The second, Jesus wanted Judas to recognize his own value. And this is very important because, again, I cannot imagine how Judas was on that time. Maybe he was completely lost. He didn't understand how serious was this thing he was doing there, this situation. I am not here discussing about the plan of God to save us through Jesus. No, it's not this point. I am talking about the human Judas, the human action, the human decision which was wrong, like sometimes we do, right? We do things without evaluate. We don't think about the consequences. And when you think it's too late, we did already, now we get the consequence which are not really good because what we did were already very wrong. In this point, Jesus wanted to help Judas to recognize his own value as a man, as a person, because we know already everybody in the whole universe is very important to God, no matter who this or this or this is, no matter this the people do, and we cannot mention things, but we know that some people may make you really horrible things, but a part of their action, their offenses or their sins, everybody has a very high importance for God. We know this, and we are evidence of this because he loved us so much. We are now where we are. So in this point, we see Jesus did not reject Judas, despite his what? Betrayal. He was now his maybe worst enemy of Jesus, probably, right? But even in that moment, Jesus did not reject him. Despite of everything he says, what happened? The sweetest, noblest, and most loving expression that could be given to someone, Jesus gave it to Judas, even if he was a traitor. Now, he was not worthy of any good word. Even Philos, he was not anything about this anymore. But Jesus looked, searched, I say, in his vocabulary. The same vocabulary which Judas talked. He knew. He was very familiar with Jesus' vocabulary. He knew this word, all the meaning of this word. Even like this, he did not change. He chose for this situation. He chose to continue like he was already planned. So in my conclusion, I have a very important question. I would like you and me talk about this. The first part of the question is, are we really friends of God? I say we because I include myself, right? Are you a friend of God already? Am I a friend of God? Or is there something you and me still need to find out in our lives, in our hearts, in order to then be within his will, in order to become his friend? We are free of everything which can be like an obstacle. Judas, for example, had something else in his mind. Maybe the love for the money, for this he sold Jesus by money. Or maybe something else we cannot even imagine. Something else changed the course of his life, the way, his path, his life, even his eternity. Because we know what Judas made at the end. He killed himself, right? It was a tragic, horrible decision he made. So he preferred not to be a friend of Jesus anymore. He sold, he became a traitor of the best friend of everyone, which was Jesus. It was his personal decision. So in our lives, we need to think very seriously. Oh, is this something which are yet a kind of obstacles in our relationship of a friendship with God? And the second part is, what kind of friends of God we are? Which kind of friends? A friends every day, all the time, or just a friend by convenience? I say by convenience is a kind of a friend which come to be present just when something is bad, is not good. For example, in our relationship with God, some people just pray and study the Bible and go to the church and be faithful just when they have problems. And they pray, even they fasting, and they make fix their own problem, make it their relationship with God stronger, deeper, better. But once God gives them the answer they are expecting for, or provision, or healing, they forget everything. It's not everybody, right? I was already in the past in the same kind of situation. So when the answer comes, the people forget. If they are again free, doing however they want. Friend, just by convenience. This kind of a friend is not a friend God expects us to be. For this, he say, I don't call you servant anymore, because the servant does not know anything about the God, for example, about master. But I call you friend, because the friend is closest, as it can develop a much better relationship. So I prefer you as a friend, Jesus say. So, are you already a friend of God? Think about this, okay? So if you are with me even now, I wanted to invite you to be part of our channel. And if you learn something new with this topic from today's topic, let me know through your comments, okay? As well about to your like, in case you like the topic, you learn something new. And if possible, share this video with your friends and families and bless them the same way you were blessed today. And don't forget to subscribe in your channel. Okay, so for me, it is a very special blessing to share with you God's word and share especially specific topics like this. So then, see you on next video. Bye bye.